Overruled. What is said in opening statement is not evidence. What is evidence is what can be proven. Sometimes things are said in opening statement that cannot be proven and are not proven. Sometimes they are. That's what this case will be about.
Remember my promises, because I'll remember theirs. When we talked in a few weeks on closing statements. I remember the DA put up a slide in the opening. It's from Harlem, a picture of him and Rihanna. Talked about when he was a teenager. I want to do the same thing. You'll hear he was born in Harlem, like they said. He was raised in poverty.
Your Honor,
you'll hear that
same, Your Honor, the same objection.
Stop. Overruled.
You'll hear about his upbringing, his mother and his siblings, and how he overcame with hard work, with dedication, and with talent. Rocky is not only
I do want you to stick to what the evidence will show.
Yes, sir. I do believe the evidence will show that, but I'm going to get deeper into these facts. But what the evidence will also show is he's not only a celebrated artist and a fashion icon, he's a man who raised a beautiful family. That's the district attorney put up the picture. His significant other.
Your Honor?
You got to get to the facts of the case.
You're going to hear the stark contrast in two individuals. Rocky on one side, Pharrell Efron on the other side, known as Relly. He represents a very different narrative. The evidence will show you that this Relly presents himself to the world as a wealthy, successful man. Source slide, he's a recording artist, businessman. He flaunts a very lavish lifestyle on social media. He poses with luxury goods.
Your Honor, the same objection, none of this is evidence.
Evidence will show you this. None of this is evidence yet. There's no evidence on both sides. Posting pictures of himself with large sums of cash and whatnot. It's fraud. He is all about a money grab. The truth is far different. And you're going to see this extravagant lifestyle that this really flaunts is nothing more than a fraud, built on not on success and hard work, but upon criminal activity. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is all about money. I've said it once, twice, I'll say it a few more times. The evidence will show you it's nothing more than a money grab. Nothing more. A clear attempt at extortion by Relly so he can keep funding this extravagant lifestyle of his that he presents to the world. You're going to see the only reason we're in this courtroom is because Rocky would not agree to be a victim of another one of his crimes. That's why we're here. Because Rocky said, here's some money. We're not here. He doesn't go to the police. And even after we went to the police, if Rocky gave him money, we're not here. It's not about justice, it's about money for him. Period, end of story. And I will show you that. The evidence will make clear that Relly is trying to leverage a fabricated story to extract money from Rocky, using lies to support these claims. The evidence will show you that Relly is a blatant perjurer, someone who takes an oath, despite that oath lies. The evidence will show you, and you will see him commit perjury right before you in this court. And you'll see how important that is to this case. Because the evidence will show that despite all the evidence they claim to have, all of it, and I mean all of it, will rise and fall on the word of Relly and his credibility. Period. End of story. You will see, if you can't believe him, the prosecution's case fails. Now let's walk you through the events leading to the incident of November 6th, 2021, which is that part of this case. But to do that, we have to start a few years back. From Relly's own testimony, that was the catalyst for this incident. His resentment, from his own testimony, his resentment was the catalyst for this incident, and his animosity towards Rocky. The evidence will show you that Relly met Rocky when he was in high school in Harlem. They were both part of that creative and artistic conglomerate called ASAP, which now you know means always strive and prosper. Over the years, Rocky achieved more and more success in the entertainment industry at first. He did maintain a friendship with this Relly, unfortunately for him. He even sought to help Relly through professional collaboration. But that wasn't enough for Relly, clearly. You'll see the kind of person Relly is in this quote. You're going to see it. He was jealous and angry, and as Rocky rejected some of the projects he presented him, Relly's resentment grew deeper and darker. So embittered by the success achieved by Rocky, someone he once considered peer, Relly embarked on a dangerous course of action. And in November 2021, Relly's resentment towards him reached the fever pitch. After tragedy had struck another member of this ASAP group, an individual named ASAP Josh had untimely death, he passed away. Evidence will show you that Rocky stepped up, spoke to the parents and the mom, ASAP Josh, and offered to cover the costs for the funeral, bring the body back to New York, and pay for the funeral. But Relly, still blinded by resentment, believed otherwise. He thought for some reason Rocky didn't agree to pay, or had agreed to pay, but then didn't actually pay. And he was furious. He went as far as to threaten physical violence against him because he thought he didn't pay for the funeral or for the expense of flying the body back. He was wrong, because he did pay. But he went as far as to threaten physical violence. And you're going to see that for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. On October 16th, a few weeks before this incident that you're all here to hear about, Relly told his friend that Rocky was a piece of shit and declared, "I'm going to beat this nigga up." Now it's funny, they showed you a lot of text messages. I didn't see that one. Did not see that one. That's the catalyst. That's weeks before this incident, when he came in hot on November 6, 2021 on Argyle. And if you fast forward only a few weeks on November 6, 2021, you'll see that. You see that Relly sought to turn those threatening words into dangerous actions. And he did. Evidence will show you that on November 6, 2021, Rocky was scheduled to attend a music festival. They put it up there called ComplexCon, with two other members of the ASAP crew, Elijah Wulanga and Jamel Phillips. You now know them as ASAP Ills and ASAP 12E. So in order to address Relly's resentment, because he was really mad, and have him accompany Ills and 12E to the festival, Rocky reached out to him multiple times. As a matter of fact, I think he saw a text from one of Relly's friends to Relly saying, "Hey, I think he wants you, Rocky wants you to perform at ComplexCon." So Rocky was trying to get him to come. It was sort of a celebration of the ASAP crew. So Rocky, yes, he was urgently messaging him because they were late for this ComplexCon. You're going to hear that from multiple witnesses. He was making them late for the show, so there were multiple messages from both 12E and Rocky. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? However, you're going to learn that although Relly, because Rocky had reached out to Relly to make plans to meet at his hotel, and you're going to learn, however, that Relly said he was staying at the Lowe's Hotel, who was in fact staying at the Lowe's Hotel, lied to Rocky and said he was staying at the W Hotel. Why? Because he wanted Rocky to think he was staying at a nicer place, according to him, which is consistent with his pattern of showing off a phony, extravagant lifestyle. But also consistent with his pattern of lying. You'll see Relly committed perjury about that exact reason. And despite Rocky's best intentions, the evidence will show you that Relly was angry when he agreed to meet Rocky that day. And that anger came to a head when he encountered Rocky on the street, outside of a parking lot, on Argyle Avenue, leading to a brief altercation that took place on the street, which you saw a clip of, a very short clip of. You'll learn that Relly claims Rocky instigated. I mean, Relly, by the way, is twice the size of him, but we'll get to that. Relly claims that Rocky instigated the altercation, but the evidence will show you it was Relly who was the one looking for a fight. And you'll hear about Relly's day in the hours before meeting Rocky. You'll hear what happened in that day, independent of Rocky in that day. You'll hear Relly's claim that Rocky pressed a gun to his stomach, to his chest, and his head. But the evidence, the independent evidence, the stuff that you don't need Relly's word for, will show you otherwise. Fortunately, the video evidence from the parking garage captured the incident. And that was the lie to Relly's fabricated story about that. The video will also show you who the real aggressor was here. It shows you that Relly approached Rocky and reached out first. It was Relly who made the first physical contact. You're going to see in a second. The DA said that Rocky was the aggressor. There's a video there. It also shows that what followed was a very quick scuffle, again you saw it, with Relly making physical contact and pulling Rocky towards him. Not Rocky pushing Relly, who outweighs him by almost 100 pounds. Not Rocky pushing Relly, but Relly pulling Rocky. The DA said in his opening, he said that Rocky was pushing Relly. You know who else said Relly was pulling Rocky? Relly said that. Relly in his statement. And when he watched the video, said, yes, I was pulling Rocky this way. That's not a good narrative. So they just changed that. But Relly has made statements about this incident. And they're stuck with those. It shows the incident was over in a matter of seconds, this videotape. And despite Relly's exaggerated claims that there was no evidence that a gun was pressed against his stomach, directed at his chest, or pointed at his head. There's none. This didn't happen. Instead, the evidence shows that Relly, again, physically much larger than Rocky, was the antagonizer here. Now, all that being said, I do need to pause here for a second. I need to pause here for a second and address the very thing that serves as the basis for Relly's fabricated story. The video that you saw, the first video, shows Rocky holding an object what appears to be a gun. And Relly seized on that and manufactured his extortion claim. And we'll get to the extortion in a bit. And remember, this is a promise from me. We'll see extortion. And if I'm not good on my promise, you'll hold it against me. I want you to. The evidence will make clear that the object Relly alleged was a firearm was absolutely nothing more than a prop gun. The DA ended his opening statement saying, 12B will tell you that. He'll testify on behalf of Rocky and tell you that. Not just 12B. Multiple witnesses will tell you that. Not just 12B. Multiple witnesses will tell you that that was a prop gun. You'll learn that that was a prop gun, also called a starter gun, a blank gun, but it's a type of fake gun. It's used in prop movies and music videos. It's also used to scare off attackers by looking and sounding like a real gun, without actually firing a live round. The evidence will show you that Rocky, obviously, I think you all know by now, is a high-profile person in the public spotlight, and he was a target. The evidence will show, in fact, that he was the victim of prior violence, which caused him to have to carry this. Victim of home invasions, victim of a stalker at that time, in November of 2021, victim of a slashing on his face, which he still carries with him today. It's
Your Honor, there's been no...
Rocky was advised by security to carry a prop gun to scare off potential attackers. And by the way, folks, listen to this one. Rocky was licensed to possess firearms and licensed to carry firearms in November of 2021. He was licensed by the state of California. He could have legally had his own firearm. He didn't want to carry a real gun, though. Despite his ability to do so legally, he didn't want to carry a real gun. For fear that he would either injure someone or himself. Again, I want to repeat that. He didn't need to hide a gun, carry an illegal gun. He was licensed to carry a gun in this state. So you're going to learn that in July 2021, a few months before the incident with Relly, Rocky was in a music video with Rihanna that had prop guns in it. The evidence will show you that Rocky took one of them, which he carried as a security measure, as he was advised to do, to scare off potential attackers. And that's exactly what he tried to do with Relly on November 6, 2021. Unfortunately, you hear that Relly was not to be deterred, not scared, because Relly knew that that gun wasn't real. There will be evidence to that fact. And all of Rocky's friends knew that Rocky carried a prop gun for safety. All of them. In fact, the evidence will show you that Relly not only told Rocky as much, but he actually called Rocky's bluff and said, "Shoot me, shoot me," knowing that he couldn't. With all this laid out, I do want to show you the video and walk you through it with respect to the first encounter. I'm going to play it once, it's quick, and then I want to show you two snippets. Here's the first encounter. That's Relly coming up. Okay, now, there's two things I want to play for you in there. The first thing is, the first person to raise a hand to anyone is Relly. You're going to see when he comes up, initially, that's him, you all agree, in those black pants coming up. First person in the video. See if he goes with his left hand. He raises his hand first. Play that one snippet, please. Boom. Do it again. Boom. He comes up with that left hand before Rocky raises his right hand. And how do you know that? Play the next clip, please. He has his hand around Rocky's neck or shoulder, and Rocky's right hand then finally comes up. Boom. This guy has his hands around Rocky's neck or shoulder before Rocky's right hand comes up. Boom. And then you heard and you saw in the video, they going backwards. Relly, again, who's mustering, you can see that from there, said to the police, "Yeah, I pulled him back. I pulled him back." They told you, well, Rocky pushed him back. That's not what Relly said. Defies sort of the laws of physics. He outweighs him by almost 100 pounds. Relly pulled him back. And by the way, all the gun pointing to the head, chest, pressed against the stomach would have had to have happened within seconds of that video with that kid Ills in between them. Seconds. You saw none of that on the video. And the second encounter, after that brief altercation by the parking garage, Relly was angry and out of control still, and he wouldn't stop. The evidence will show you that those three guys, Rocky, Ills, and Schwelby, walked away. They walked away. There was a map put up here. I don't have one of those. It was nice. It was a map showing where the first thing happened, and then there was a block, and then a walk around the block where the second thing happened. That guy followed them around two corners. Around two corners, pursuing them. He hadn't had enough, apparently. They were walking away from him, trying to get away from him. He pursued them around two corners. And the evidence will show you that those guys, Rocky, Ills, and Schwelby, tried to get away from him. They tried. You'll hear that, although Relly claimed that Rocky had a real gun, now, Relly not only continued to follow the guy with a real gun, but he followed and yelled at them and berated them and told the Ills, "You're a crackhead." And told Schwelby, "You live in the projects. You're not successful like me." And told Rocky, "You're a bitch." So the guy who supposedly pulled a real gun on him, and now apparently someone else has a knife too, and they're running away from him, he's chasing them, antagonizing them, bragging about his own successes. You'll listen to Relly's story about that, ladies and gentlemen. You get to assess the credibility. Because it will continue to unravel. The story will continue to unravel. Even the police questioned him. "Why would you continue to follow Rocky after he supposedly pulled a real gun out on you?" said the police to Relly. And you'll hear Relly's answer to the police. "I don't know." That was the answer. "I don't know." I promise you that answer is going to change in this courtroom. That's what he said initially when asked. And of course he didn't know. He had to say, "I didn't know why I followed them." Because he couldn't tell the police the truth that he knew Rocky's gun was a prop gun. Because that wouldn't work for his narrative. One that could actually shoot him. And because he was aware of that fact, Relly continued his aggression. You'll hear that Relly was so angry that he was ready to hit Schwelby, according to Relly. You'll hear that he was so angry that he hated Ills, according to Relly. You'll learn that when Relly finally caught up with him around two corners, on the corner of Selma and Vista Del Mar, his anger and hatred came to a boiling point, and he attacked this kid Ills. Attacked him. And make no mistake about it, as the evidence will show you, Relly was the aggressor there as well. And Rocky, again, significantly smaller than Plea, fired that prop gun, that starter gun, which makes sound just like a real gun. That's the purpose of it. He fired it twice, hoping the sound would be enough to scare off Relly and protect Ills. Wrong. Relly didn't stop. He didn't stop because he knew it was a prop gun, but he didn't stop. And the evidence will show you that after Rocky fired those two warning shots with that prop gun, car alarms went off. Because there was that big parking lot right there where they were. Car alarms went off. I'm sorry that you guys are here. It's hard to look everywhere. So Schwelby, being sort of sound mind, told Rocky, "Hey, listen, man, get out of here. The car alarms are going off now. People are going to start coming." Rocky obviously is a public figure, and now people are going to have their attention drawn to this. Get out of here. Rocky listened. He persuaded Rocky to leave the scene. Schwelby said, "I'll check on Ills," because Ills was having a rough go of it. Ills is smaller than Rocky. And Relly was pummeling. You're going to hear about how Ills' face looked after this encounter. It was a hot mess. So you'll hear a different story from Relly. He claims, he claims he grabbed him, Ills, as a human shield. A human shield. Funny, Ills didn't get shot, but he was a human shield. Evidence will show you that's just another lie. It's another lie. The evidence will show you that. You'll see that Relly knew the proctor couldn't hurt him, first of all. Second, you're going to see that Relly wasn't hiding behind Ills or under Ills. In fact, in the video, if you look carefully, and we'll show you, you'll see that Relly's on top of Ills as they're on the floor, on top of him, punching him. And even after Rocky left the scene, that's simple. Even after Rocky left the scene and ran, the evidence will show you that Relly continued to attack Ills. A witness will walk you through that. That sort of is a problem for them. I mean, this guy was claimed he was shot at one point, and he is still attacking the guy that he started to attack before there was any warning shots fired. He's still attacking. Not to be deterred by any starter pistol or real bullets from him. The DA played you a video here that had that sound. There was a little box in the bottom that had sound. Or pop pop. That video was called the sequence surveillance video. The district attorney played on the roll. Funny part about that video is that they cut out that last part of the video. We'll play you the full part. But the part where Ills goes back and attacks, Relly goes back and attacks Ills. They cut that part of that video out. It's not on that sequence surveillance video. They cut out those last 3-4 seconds. That's a problem. Now, this altercation, like the first one around the corner, was also captured on video, but as you saw, that thing is not clear. And I saw some pictures up here earlier. It looked like aliens or something. But it's not clear. But you can make some things out. But even Relly in his testimony said, I really can't tell what happened in that video. So we have to go on his word now. And although the video captured that incident, that was less than half a minute, not particularly clear, the evidence will make clear what happened there. The evidence will. Relly physically attacked Ills. Rocky tried to use a prop gun to defend him. And with that, I want to walk you through that video the best we can. We'll play it first. And you know this drill here is at the corner. Up here. Focus on here they come. There's Rocky. There's 12E. Then Ills comes and he's following him. You see him go right after Ills, Relly. That's when Rocky fires the warning shots. And there's Ills on top. Relly on top of Ills, punching him. That's Ills going down to the ground. Rocky's gone. 12E's about to be gone. And watch. There goes Relly back after Ills. And then he goes away after he hits him again. Ills eventually caught up with 12E and Rocky. His face was basically busted open. We have the clips to play. Small ones. Let's do that again. So I'm going to play broken down little clips. The first one is then all being followed. Upper right-hand corner again, guys. All being followed by Relly. Three of them trying to get away. First Rocky, then 12E, then Ills, and Relly's still coming hard. And you'll get to see this as many times as you want later. The second one is Relly on top of Ills on the ground. Is that right? Yes. Let's see if I can help here. Ron, can I stand up here for a second?
Actually, Alex is going to get we have a pointer in the courtroom.
Oh.
And he's going to get it.
All right.
So, yeah, you can stand where you want to stand, but in a little while, Alex will bring up the pointer, and you can use it, or Mr. Lewin can use it, or Mr. Loma can use it, or Mr. Siegel can use it.
All right, so not to hold everyone up, I'm just going to go forward here right now, okay? All right. Can you go back again, guys? This is the clip where you see Relly, and you get to see it later. Don't worry. Relly, big guy, on top of that little guy Ills, on top of him, not using him as a shield. Watch. Go ahead. There's Relly, that's Ills down, and Relly on top of him. Look at him. He's not worried about a shield. He's going after him. And then the last clip is, are we playing that last clip too? Take a look at it. It's after Rocky's gone, Relly continues his pursuit of Ills. This poor little kid. There. And he hits him again before he peels off. He goes to the left to hit Ills, and then he goes to the right. There's also a witness that saw this. He's going to come in here. Unfortunately, Rocky's attempt to scare off Relly didn't have the intended effect, obviously. Instead, Relly continued his attack on Ills, and then hatched his extortion plan. What you'll learn is that Relly returned to that scene an hour later. He returned to the scene an hour later. And he attempted to fabricate evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is some offensive stuff. It's going to be crystal clear to you. He attempted to fabricate evidence. You hear Relly's claim that he came back to the area an hour later with his girlfriend, Lydia Parker, and that while they were there, he quickly found 2 shell casings that Rocky fired right there, picked them up, and he found them. And then he videotaped them. An hour later, you will see that story fall apart so hard. Why? Because the evidence will show you that well before Relly returned to the area, 7 police officers, like a SWAT team, 7 police officers arrived at that same spot. They responded to the scene and carefully searched every inch of that area. I could not believe what I heard on the opening statement. Oh, the police didn't know where to look. Police searched the exact same spot where Relly claims he picked up the bullets. Not close to it, not near it, the exact same spot. Thank God there's videotapes. There's a body cam from the police where they were searching. And there's a surveillance video that you see here that captured Relly coming back an hour later. Exact same spot. So, we're playing it now? Well, it's not just, but we're playing and we're showing. Showing. So, this is where the police are. I'll sit back in. Okay. The police are searching with flashlights. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there right now. There were 7. There's another one here. This is where the alleged tussling was with Relly and Ills. Rocky's here. 12's here. Here's the corner they came around. So this is where the shots. Yeah. Very high tech, Your Honor. This is where the shots were.
Like, easy on the screen.
This is where the shots were discharged according to Relly, right here. Okay, right here. Look at where they're searching. This is where Relly, as he comes back an hour later and picks it up. And here's the landmark. Look, this is the corner that they all came around, right here. And this is where it all started. And here, there's that opening right here. See this big orange, red, whatever this thing is here? Look at the picture below. Okay. That thing there is that thing here. That opening here, this is a big orange thing. I mean, you can't really see as well here. You'll be able to take these with you later. This is that orange thing. Go back up again, guys. Down to the other one. This is that orange thing. Directly across a few feet there is where they're searching. Go down. Directly across a few feet there is where they're searching. You know where that is? That's really an hour later. According to the police, they captured that surveillance video. That's him an hour later, coming back to retrieve the bullets in the exact same spot at the. Go ahead up. The cops were searching with a flashlight. And the cops weren't there looking for, they didn't know what. cops were there looking for shell casings because they were called in for shots fired. So what the police officers searching that scene found were no shell casings, no bullet fragments anywhere, and they were there. 7 officers with flashlights searching everywhere. No shell casings, no bullet fragments, no damaged property. Understand, there was a parking lot full with cars right across from where this alleged shooting was, real close, right? Not a window broken, a tire popped, a dent in a piece of metal. No damage to any vehicle at all. Absolutely no sign of a real gun being fired, as one of the police officers on the scene said. I repeat that. One of the police officers on the scene said, there's no evidence of a gun being fired. But still, they're going to ask you to believe Relly, who miraculously found them in the dark an hour later after 7 trained officers with searchlights in the same exact spot couldn't find them. So much for the officers didn't know where to look. They were right in the same spot. So, for that matter, although Relly is going to claim his girlfriend was there with him, because that gives a corroborating witness that can back his story up, right? When he found those shell casings an hour later, the video evidence in this case will show otherwise. That she wasn't with him, unless she's a ghost. That she wasn't with him. Thank God for those surveillance videos. So what did Relly first do with the videos he made of the shell casings? Did he go to the police? No. He didn't contact the police. Instead, he sent them to Rocky and Rocky's manager and said, I'm going to be rich. That was his first thought. I'm going to be rich. I mean, here's someone who basically claims he was shot. That was the initial for a shot. He miraculously recovered the evidence from the crime scene that the police couldn't find. And he didn't go to the police. His first thought was, I'm going to be rich. Well, the evidence will show you that Relly committed perjury without those messages. He actually texted a message meaning, I'm going to be rich. He said, I'm going to be itch at one point. But he said, oh, I didn't mean rich when I said itch. I meant irritable. Okay, because itch and irritable is not very close. And when you're typing itch, sometimes it won't change it to irritable. It's just one lie after the other. He testified at an early hearing in this case, under oath. And you'll learn shortly after sending those messages to Rocky and his business manager, you're going to learn that Relly sent another message to his business partner, to Relly's business partner, saying, I want to get this nigga's money. That's what was on his mind, not his near-death experience. Oh my God, how did he even survive that scrape on his knuckles? Not running to the police to arrest the culprit. No. Texting everyone, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get his money. That's all he cared about. The evidence will show you that Relly fabricated these shell casings in order to extort Rocky. Right from the outset. Right from the get-go. And why did he think he could get away with that? Why? Because Relly didn't know that the police had already returned within minutes of the sounds and the incidents there and searched the scene. He didn't know that. Of course, they didn't find anything. We talked about that already. There was no actual shooting because there was no real gun. There was no evidence of a shooting because there was no real gun. And that's why that same night, in response to Relly's text to Rocky texted him, if I shot you, go to the police. They didn't show you that text, though. Showed you a bunch of texts between Relly and Rocky that night. They didn't show you that text. Rocky's saying, go to the police. Yeah, because someone who really shoots someone and is guilty said, yeah, go to the police. Rocky texted about that. But of course, he didn't go to the police. That was not on his mind. You'll hear what he thinks of the police, this road. After his immediate efforts to extort Rocky failed, because he just wanted to get rich, he wanted to get that, need his money, as he said. When it didn't work, he said, okay, you better go get a civil lawyer. After he tried on his own to get the money, let me go get a civil lawyer to try and get money out of Rocky. And you'll hear that because the civil lawyer would only take his case if he went to the police. Relly then went to the police 2 days later. 2 days after the incident, he finally goes to the police. And you'll learn of the inconsistent statements he made to the police because he couldn't keep the story straight. It is all over the place. You'll hear this ridiculous claim like the one about him being shot. You saw that picture. The supposed proof of him being shot, the knuckle scrapes, the superficial knuckle scrapes across his knuckles, which are consistent with him doing what you see in the video, attacking somebody, attacking ills. That did not feel by the way. But attacking somebody and punching and scraping the knuckle on the ground. What kind of bullet does that? Hits one knuckle, bounces down, hits another knuckle, bounces down again. I mean, it's ridiculous that he said that. He got shot. That was his first story. Now you hear that backed off way off that thing now. You'll hear his ridiculous claim about that injury, that it was a gunshot wound that required medical attention, he first said. Of course, now the DA just said to you, oh, you don't have to decide at the end of this case if you got shot or not. You don't have to decide. Don't worry about it. Not that easy. Not that easy. You do have to decide because his credibility is at issue here. You have to decide if he was lying, if he was embellishing, if he was making up a story to get money. So if he says he got shot, and you find he didn't get shot, you do have to decide that. Relly at this very moment has a civil lawsuit against Rocky, seeking millions of dollars. Ready? $30 million for the knuckle scrape. $30 million. It's not my money. Not just. Oh, he also claims that he has a permanent disability. Permanent disability from the knuckle scrape. I mean, he lies about almost everything in this case. He swore that he has a permanent disability. You're going to see an Instagram video of him with that permanent disability, showing his manicured hand, turning it around with his Rolex watch on. Permanent disability. It is offensive to a different level. He even claims he went for necessary medical treatment for his injury to a hospital, but not here in LA, where he was shot. He waited to fly all the way from California to New York to go to a hospital many days later after getting a civil lawyer and being told by the detective in this case, really, you should go to the hospital, not to make sure you're not going to die, not to make sure you don't lose use of your hand, not to make sure your knuckles heal. The detective said, you should go to the hospital for this case. The detective, it's going to be undisputed, told Relly to go to the hospital for this criminal case. Do you think they're trying to build a case in? Is that what we do? We instruct victims to go to the hospital to make it look better? Those scrapes are no more proof of a real gunshot than those shell casings that the 7 officers did not find are. And what else did the police not find after Relly turned in the shell casings over to them, finally, after walking around with them God knows where for 2 days? What else did the police not find? You'll hear that the police, despite examining them for fingerprints, didn't find Rocky's on them. Because bullets, metal, capture prints. So you have someone loads a bullet into a gun, got prints on that. not Rocky's. Now, the shell casings apparently had no fingerprints on them whatsoever, as if someone who claimed to find them after the fact wiped them completely clean. And what else wasn't found on those shell casings? Rocky's DNA. They took samples, the police did, of Rocky's DNA for the purpose of comparison. They took his DNA to compare with the bullets. Zero. Nothing. Never connected to the shell casings. As I mentioned, he was licensed to carry and possess firearms. You'll learn that he legally possessed firearms, which in fact were recovered from his home. You saw that whole bunch of pictures. He had firearms legally in his home. No problem. Police did a search, they recovered them. No problem with the police. The evidence will show you that none of those firearms recovered were 9mm caliber, because he didn't have one. You'll learn that 9mm caliber of the shell casings that Relly claims to have recovered from the scene are exactly the type of gun that Rocky didn't possess or own. You'll hear, and you heard from their opening, that there was a single magazine containing 9mm ammunition in his home. And you'll learn that belonged to his manager, Lou Levin, who will tell you, he will be here and testify why that was his. He also was licensed. Most importantly, though, when it comes to this little issue of the bullets recovered by Relly, that didn't have Rocky's fingerprints, the police missed, and all that stuff, and the 9mm ammunition recovered in Rocky's home, that one magazine, 5 bullets or whatever, most importantly, you're going to learn that the shell casings were completely different than the ones that Relly said he found at the scene gave to the police. Completely different. You'll learn that the 9mm ammunition in Rocky's home was a brand called Sig Sauer, and the Relly shell casings that he claims to have found at the scene, that the police missed, were a brand called Federal. I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to show you the pictures. This is the one in the house. That's that magazine that they recovered with a few bullets in it. That was Lou Levin's. This says Sig. Whoa. I can't see nothing now, so can you zoom back a little bit? S-I-G-S-A-U-G-E-R or something like that. Sauer. What's this? How does it say?
Luger.
What? Luger. Sig. S-I-G. Sig Luger. The ones at the scene are these from Relly. FC, which stands for
Federal cartridge.
Federal Cartridge. Completely different brand, completely different bullet. Those are the ones from the house that belong to someone else who will testify here from Brooklyn. Those are the ones that Relly claims to have found at the scene. They're different bullets altogether. So much for that big reveal on the opening. They didn't show you that. No. They didn't show you the comparison of the two bullets. Just the magazine. Ooh, it was a 9mm. Different bullets. In the end, you'll see that all the objective evidence in this case relied on by the prosecution to support a shooting rises and falls, I mean falls, on the word and credibility of Relly, who is a proven criminal and perjurer. Those shell casings he claims to have found, the superficial scrapes he claims is a gunshot wound. The video himself that he even claims he can't make out clearly. We have to rely on his rendition of it only. Because without his rendition, you get nothing from any of this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your job to win this trial to evaluate the evidence. To look at every single piece of evidence they present to you, the prosecution, and ask yourself, does that pass the smell test? I remember Mr. Lewin, every time he stood up in jury selection, said, Possibility? Did we say possibility? No, no possibility. No possibility. The word possible is not part of this trial, he said to you. Remember that. This case is not about possible. It doesn't pass the smell test. And you have to ask yourself that. Does it? Or do you have a doubt about a piece of evidence that's really the focus here when you consider the charges in this case? There are two charges. The first charge is assault with a semi-automatic fire gun in this case. No, actually I said that wrong. It's an assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That's the first count. Both counts, actually. The first one is the altercation in front of the parking garage. The second for the altercation around the corner. 2 counts. To prove those 2 counts, they must prove beyond a reasonable doubt 2 things. 1, Rocky possessed a real gun.
No, this sounds like
Okay. The judge will give you the law. He's right. The judge will give you the law at the end of this, what needs to be proved. I'm giving you some credit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I need the objection. Is anything right? Or...
You were right too on that one. They won't be able to meet that burden in this case. When the judge gives the law, you'll see the 2 things that have to be proved. It's not even close on either. The objective evidence in this case, independent of Relly, just is not there. There are no gunshot wounds, no evidence of actual gunfire as officers at the scene, no shell casings found at the scene. When the police arrived,
This sounds again like pure argument.
evidence will show you there was no property damage, no fingerprints, no DNA linking Rocky to anything. And that's because what Rocky had was a prop gun. Either that, or he's the luckiest man to ever walk the face of this earth. What is real in this case wasn't a gun, but Relly's attempt to extort Rocky. That is real. Out of millions of dollars, and using this criminal case as a windfall in his civil one. And folks, and going back to what I first said to you, my promise, it's a promise to you. Now, I wouldn't be doing this so emphatically if I weren't sure.
That's all I mean. It's just proper expression.
You will see, the evidence will show you hard evidence of an extortion in this case and perjury to try and cover it up. Hard evidence of an extortion in this case, the evidence will show you, and perjury to try to cover it up. The evidence will show you Relly's understanding in that regard that if Rocky's found guilty here, he automatically has liability in a civil case and gets money. Lots of money.
That's absolutely improper.
Sustained.
The jury being instructed. Counsel continues to
Stop.
make whatever
Stop.
objection.
No speaking objections. Stop. Disregard anything about the consequences of whether Mr. Mayers is or is not convicted in this case. The consequences have no bearing on any decision that you have to make, and you're going to be given a jury instruction to that effect.
Thank you. Anyway, it's been Relly's endgame from the start. You're going to hear some of the absolute worst things come out of his mouth when it comes to this case, this criminal case, and how much he truly cares about this case and what he was willing to do to this case for money. Ladies and gentlemen, when this case is over, you'll see that Rakim Mayers, except Rocky's innocent. He's not only not guilty, he's innocent. And when we stand up here for our closing arguments in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about how the evidence shaped up. You'll see that for Relly, it was never about justice, ever. It's about a man seeking a profit from a fabricated narrative, using false.
I didn't hear. Read back, Kevin.
It's about a man seeking profit from a fabricated narrative.
It's argument.
The evidence will show you that Rocky has absolutely nothing to hide here. He's a man, evidence will show you he's a man who built success through passion, valor, and hard work. He stands in stark contrast to this Relly. You'll see Kate stand next week and lie to you over and over again, trying to destroy Rocky for his own financial gain. He's a parasite who wants you to help him get his payday.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this case, after all you've seen and heard, all the evidence and cross-examination, all the things I promised you today, I would ask at your hands for a verdict of not guilty for Rakim Mayers. It's the only verdict consistent with justice. It is the only verdict consistent with fairness. Thank you.
All right, folks, I want to take a 10-minute break, and I want counsel to remain in place. Folks, please be outside the courtroom doors at 10 minutes before 3. And please don't discuss the case. Look yourself or anybody else.
They're about to get out.